Everybody, I'm Tasha, back again with another murder story that I want to tell you, which is quite interesting, I have to say, and it's a quick one. So if you're new here, thank you for clicking on the video, and if you like, true crime murder stories, go ahead and follow for more, because this is what I do. Just after midnight, June 22nd, 1991, Charles Holden is in Harrington, Delaware. He's on his way home from work, okay, and he's quite hungry. He gets hungry, so he's on his way home. He stops at a fast food restaurant and eats whatever. He gets in and he's about to pull out of the driveway of the fast food place. And he looks up and he sees a man running at him, running like in front towards him, trying to flag him down. And so Charles stops and he's like, hey, are you okay? Everything cool? And the guy was like, yeah, my sister's having a baby. I need a ride to the hospital. And it was like 20 minutes away, but Charles couldn't tell, like, if the man was lying or not. Like, he didn't really know, and it was late, and he's tired. He just got off work. He wants to go home. And so he was like, no, I'm sorry. And then, so the guy just kind of, okay, and begins to turn and walk away. Well, Charles feels bad. So then he stops, and he's like, hey, I'll drive you partway there. So the guy gets in and he drives him like 3 miles in the direction he needs to go, and he pulls over. And Charles only lived like a half a mile away and didn't want to drive any further, so he was like, hey, this is as far as I could take you. And upon hearing this, the guy gets so upset and starts yelling, and he's like feeling around in his pockets, and like he's digging for a weapon or something, and tells Charles like to hand over his keys, his wallet, and if he doesn't, he said, I'll kill you. And Charles is already on edge because of the feeling he had. So like his adrenaline's pumping and he's on edge already, so he jumps into action. He puts his truck in park, he grabs the keys, and he jumps out. And he was close to a gas station, so he figured if he just sprints, he could get to that gas station and ask for help. And so he jumps out, and he's, like, running, and he just happens to look back. And when he looked back, the guy was sprinting after Charles with the screwdriver. And the guy was just gaining on him. Like, the guy was super fast. So Charles is like, oh no, like, I'm not gonna make it. So he stops, he puts his hands up, and he tells the guy, like, okay, I'll take you wherever you want to go. Like, and after I take you where you want to go, I'll give you the keys, I'll give you the wallet, whatever you want. And so the guy just, like, pokes him, in the chest with a screwdriver. And he's like, okay, turn around and start walking. So Charles starts walking back to his truck, and the guy's behind him with a screwdriver, like, in his back. They get to his truck, and the guy lets Charles get in. And the guy's like, don't do nothing, crazy. Wait till I get in. Well, that's where, the guy messed up. Like, hello, you're going to let the guy get in first and then wait for you to come around? Like, wasn't very smart. But anyways, so Charles, as soon as he gets in, he shuts the door and he hurry and locks all the doors, starts his truck, and he takes off. And so he was a little relieved that he was able to get away. And he thought about calling the cops, but he was like, no, I'm the one that stopped. I'm the one that offered to pick him up. Like, it's my fault. And it was close to, like, where he lived, so Charles was nervous. Like, I don't want to, have him happen to spot my truck. He knows what it looks like. I don't want him to be walking anywhere around and see my truck and then break in and try to kill me or, anything like that. So he drives around for, like, a good hour until he thinks, like, the guy is good and gone. So he's driving back to his house. When he turns on his street, he sees him. He sees the guy, like, walking down the street. And so he, like, stops. And the guy didn't see him. The guy didn't hear him. He didn't notice him, anything like that. So Charles stops, throws his truck in reverse, and stops at a payphone. And he calls the police and tells them, like, hey, I just had this guy, try to kill me, jack me for my car and everything like that. So a few minutes later, the police arrive and they escort Charles home. And, they're like, we'll get to your house, make sure, nobody's there, make sure the guy's gone. If we see him, we will arrest him. So they drive him back to his house, and there's no sign of a break-in. There's no sign of, like, that anyone has been there. And so the officer's like, okay, well, looks like you're home safe. We'll go ahead and leave. Well, Charles asked the officer if he would check on his mom, Dorothy. She's 70 years old, and she lives alone. And Dorothy actually lives in the house behind Charles. And so the cops go through the backyard and enter into his mom's yard. And when the officers see the back door, they see it smashed. So they draw their gun and they head inside, and it's all dark. They're calling Dorothy's name and can't see her anywhere. So they head upstairs and they find blood, like, on the top landing of the stairs. So they follow the trail and they find Dorothy in her bed, sprawled out, stabbed to death. So the guy was Gilbert Cannon, and he was looking for a place to sleep. And so what I'm saying is, it's just crazy how, like, he said that, Charles was just a random pick. He saw him leaving the food place, and he had no idea who he was. And so Charles was random, and then also when he's in the neighborhood looking for a place to sleep, he breaks into Charles' mom's house, and he had no idea that the two knew each other or related, nothing. And so sad story. It's just like, it's a story that is too hard to believe. You know what I mean? Like, what are the odds of somebody stopping you at a fast food restaurant and trying to jack you, and then not only that, but end up, like, killing one of your family members after? And the guy had no idea, like, that they were even related or anything. So super crazy story. I thought it was really interesting, and I was just like, what are the odds? Like, there's no way. And so I wanted to jump on here and tell you guys. So the guy pled guilty to murder, and he was sentenced to life without possibility of parole. So really interesting story. Like I said, what are the odds? So everybody stay safe, be kind, and till next time.